So this is the Harley UL again. We put all new cam bearings in on the tappet chest and on the engine casings. Put it all, reassembled everything, and it was still very, very noisy. So basically, I'll take these cams out. The camshafts were worn. So got another set of camshafts. What was happening was, as your valve opens, you've got the pressure of the valve spring. So it pushes the valve up, and as it comes back down, instead of rolling in the cam bearing nicely, it was, so you start there, that's what you call the bottom of your lobe, okay? Yep. So your tappet follower sits on that, your roller follower. So it pushes up, opens the valve up. Now as it's falling off the back side of the cam, because everything in here was so loose, it's snapped, and you can just get that it's just rattled like mad. We've got a new set of cams, because that's how loose they were. So it was actually, hear that noise? So it's just snapping back off the top and making that noise. So that's a standard lobe size, 675, 86, 686. Obviously that's worn out completely, yeah? And they tend to go, see, that's not too bad, that side, it is loose, but they tend to go that side because your valve spring pressure is on that side of it, yeah?
Yeah.
So what you do is you press all your new bushes in, and you ream them to size, which I've done, but then they'll always be slightly out of line, yeah? So what you do is you put marker pen or engineer's blue on here, okay?
Yeah.
You put that in, put your casing in, turn the cam round. If it's too tight, then you get what we call a high spot mark in there. So you get your bearing scraper, pick up any of the high spots that are marked up as dark, because your ink's come off here on the engineering blue. I've oiled everything now so you can't see it, but any high spot, you literally just, I'll go and get an old one and I'll show you. So that's an old cam bearing. These are all covered in oil now, so you're not going to do it, but you mark all that up, yeah? Let that ink dry off. Now when you rotate that in there, if you've got a mark like that from the ink rubbing on it, you know that's a high spot.
Yeah.
Okay? So you get your scraper and you literally take your high spot off so the ink's gone, yeah?
Yeah.
And that's, you're taking probably half a thou off of it. You do that on each one individually, then you load them all in together, you make sure you've got no tight spots, nothing's hitting, blah blah blah. Okay? So that, having done that, you then reassemble, which is what I've got to do now. You reassemble it all and you check for your end float on the cams that way. Okay? So that's, we know as standard, that's camshaft number 3. You know as standard, they have a shim either side, yeah?
Yeah.
Pop him in there. That is camshaft number 4. So that should have one underneath it and one on top of it. Right. That one doesn't have one, that one has one. Obviously this has all got to be taken apart again and thoroughly cleaned. We put one shim on there. And this has got a shim in it already. It's a larger one, yeah. We have one shim on there. And don't worry about timing all your gears up or anything like that, just assemble it. Okay, so that's all of those. We know they're spinning nicely, look. Okay, so we know we've got nothing on that one, shim on that one, shim on that one, shim on that one. Making sure your gasket's in place because that affects your end float height, yeah?
Yeah.
Put your casing back on. And you want 4 screws in there, make sure it's home tight. Don't have to go mad tight with them, just as long as it's bedded down. Okay, because you've got the casings apart, you can reach inside there and turn your cam wheels, yeah? You've got a bit of a tight spot there, but roll past it, and as you turn everything, it'll all loosen up. That's fine. Okay, so now, okay, if you look down here, see that infloat?
Yeah.
You want between 1 and 5 thou. Normally these oil pump drive gears are quite excessive, but this one you probably got about 10 thou on that. Okay, so what you do is get your feeler gauges. So we want a maximum of 5 thou realistically. So let's see what we've got. That's 10 thou. Right, can you see down there, look? So you got your bronze bush, your camshaft. You see that gap there? See that little washer?
Yeah.
So what you want to do is see what that gap there is. Okay, I can just get 10 thou down there. And I'm guessing these will be all about the same. Yeah, so your back 3 will take another shim. 5 thou, 1 to 5 thou is roughly a guideline. You don't want to go mad with it, you know. And we said our front 3, that's got a shim, that's got a shim. So 1, that's the original. And we can add a shim to that. You want to try and shim them if you can back that way. It doesn't, you've got enough tolerance between there and there, because it doesn't, nothing goes into that. That's just a guideline for the roller wheel.
Yeah.
So you've got plenty of tolerance there. Okay, so what have we got? I added that one, yeah. So we've got 2 on there. We've got 2 on there. Now that one, you have to go on the back of the camshaft, because I haven't got any of the larger shims that go in there. Which is stuck on there now, look. So we'll add another one to there. So I'm not worried about timing the cams up or anything, this is just purely a measurement system, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's check that. So the same old thing like the gearboxes, it's on, off, on, off, on, off, you know. Normally by the time you've done this about 20 times, the gas gets knackered and you have to put another one on. Check again with our feeler gauges. So we know we could just about get 10 in there. We've added, I think they're 7 thou those. So let's go down 7, 6, 5. Okay. Right, no movement on that. So I've got just about 5 thou clearance on that one. Again, nice slip in 5 thou. And again, nice slip in 5 thou. Check your rotation. That's a lot better. Right, now this one, we have got quite a lot of play in it.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
So you've got more excessive play there. So you're never going to get it to the point where the teeth are going to mesh on anything or anything like that.
Yeah.
So obviously that needs more shims. The cams being reproduction will be slightly different lengths. That bush being reproduction will be a slightly different length. So you have to just check it as you're going along, you know. Nothing on these, I don't care what they say, when you get reproduction parts, they're never ever the same as the originals, you know.
Yeah.
This is where you pull it all apart, all the cams fall out and you lose where all your shims are. Just to be bloody annoying. Okay. Right, so we know we've got shim on the back of that, because they don't make shims for the front of the oil pump. Drive cog. Okay, so we've got 1 on there, let's put another 3 on there. You'll soon know if it's too much because it'll just lock straight up. You can do it by measuring it, but it's just a ball ache. You might as well just take it apart again and just shim it up, see what you got.
How do you know if you've damaged the gasket?
Oh, it just haven't chewed through anywhere here yet, but see that very fine there. If you haven't got that in the right place when you do it up, it'll just split it there.
Alright.
So it's just eyeballing it. £1 for every time I've done this on gearboxes, taking screws in and out, and bloody be a millionaire. If you can get hold of one of these, yeah, buy those and turn it, you know you've got no issues with it binding at all. Right, just get 5 thou down there, so that is fine. That's basically it for that lot. You'd always get that clicky noise between the teeth on the cogs. That's a part of it. Not a lot you can do about that. That's just slack, and it's just that little tiny bit. But when it's got oil flowing all round it, just quietens it all down, you know. So basically that's it for lining up your tappet chest. So now that has all got to come apart. You take it apart, you get some cable ties, and you mark up what shims come off of where. Otherwise you have to do it all again. Then everything has to be thoroughly cleaned, because you've been in there scraping metal and reaming things out, so you've got to get it all bang bang clean inside. You don't want that metal floating around your engine at all. And then you reassemble your engine, put it back in the bike, and hopefully it's nice and quiet. But you literally, you can't do any more than that. That's it, you know, that is what they are. Okay, we've got one shim left on that one. Right, that can be thoroughly cleaned. Let's get some ties.
Yeah.
These goes from camshaft 1 to 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull number 4 out. Okay, so there's no more on there. We've got 2 on the outside. I know they're all pretty much the same, but you just want to make sure you don't put them in the wrong place, yeah? Number 2 has to come out next because of the way the cams work. It's got 2 on there. I won't try and take the big one off of there at the moment because it's a fiddly pig to get out, but it will come out when we wash everything. So we won't move those. We know what shims go back on what cams.
Yeah.
We know basically the front 3 are 3 shims. But it's always best to keep them in order, you know. So basically that's it, apart from now spending about a couple of hours washing everything, making sure everything's bang tidy clean, you know. And then we can reassemble the engine.